pick you up and empower you and give you the tools to get your health back, your financial health back, your physical health back, to make you the best primary financial care advisor. In fact, we want to make you non-compos medis, which means you're going to become the best functional medicine doctor you know. And you can always consult here. If you're a customer, you actually have the right to phone consultations. If you're not a customer, you can email, and I'll give you a quick and dirty quick response to say this is what you take to start. If you want a full consult, I do have those available by phone and email, and there's a charge if you're going to dump me with medical records and want an extensive review of charts, etc. We have available, of course, the QRMA, Quantitative Resonant Magnetic Test, Bioplasm Pro and Expert, which are amazing, and the most advanced Bioplasm Clinical, which is similar to the Russian Metapathia. I will advise you on medical tests, imaging studies, organic acids, 23andMe and Prometheus gene analysis. Literally, there is no area of toxicology, infectious disease, immunology that I do not have a degree of expertise that can help direct you as to what to do. And what I'm doing now, the last few weeks, is I've just really grabbed a hold of this amazing idea of Karatbars, and my imagination is running wild. And so one of my main mentors here, Pete Fettig, has some talking points. What are we going to talk about today, Pete, about Karatbars?
Well, all manner of things, to be honest. And I sent a kind of a list of things to talk about. And
yes, in fact, I just got a talking points, universal solution to the worldwide debt, savings, and currency crisis. Let's take it from there.
Sure. Well, what we do with Karatbars, first and foremost, is Karatbars provides gold that's affordable to the average person. And when I say that, they're providing it gold by the gram. They also have 1 gram, 2.5 gram, and 5 gram cards that are available. And that's at a price point that the average guy can afford to get involved and start accumulating gold. And
right.
That's a way to preserve your purchasing power and also to leave a legacy for your children if you so choose. But ultimately, we're hoping that people will save up enough gold that way to actually start using it in commerce. We actually want to form a gold economy, if you will. So
yeah, in fact, that's why Ted Anderson, our upline, and your downline. Why Ted Anderson, the founder of Genesis Network and Midas Resources, who sells gold and silver coins and numismatic coins with special markings, grabbed a hold of this vision too and said, look, I got to support a gold economy. There's 24 currencies now in the teetering toward catastrophe right now, not in the future, and another 13 on the way. And the American dollar is the strongest of the currencies falling, and like skydivers, falling doesn't hurt you, it's the stopping that hurts. And the stopping is going to start here very soon. I expect the current transfusion of cash to the Greeks, which 90% goes back to the banks, will not stop the hemorrhaging of the debt crisis in Greece and the PIGS nations, Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Spain, and what's going to happen in Greece, of course, PIGS. What's going to happen is that when the euro currencies have trouble, and it will be real simple for euro. They just write off the debt, which is what the IMF recommended, but they're not going to do it, at least right away. Eventually, they're going to have to do something, and that means possibly bailing in, which means taking a portion or a chunk of your money, devaluing the current currency a significant amount versus gold, which won't devalue. And, of course, they're purposely suppressing gold. So I tell people when they see gold prices dropping, that's the warning sign to buy gold. And the best way to buy gold is Karatbars. Now, I have lots of gold and silver, and I've been buying for 20-some years, primarily through Midas. And what I found is it's really good. In fact, we used a chunk of our gold when we purchased our home here in California. We had accumulated before when we were buying it at $200 and $300 an ounce many years ago. And when we sold it to buy the house, it was like 5 times the value. So we were laughing all the way to the bank when we realized when we put in our down payment for our home. But Karatbars is much bigger than that. It's a fractional currency that's going to allow you to save, say, at the rate of, say, 1 gram a month is the minimum. And that way, if you're on an auto ship to get 1 gram a month, you're getting cards which can be shipped to you, which is actual physical vaulted gold. So it has the LBMA certification on it. It's not just a chunk of gold. You'd have to go to a broker and try to get paid. It also is going to allow vendors at the end of the year to start servicing people with Karatbars, just like a credit card like Amex or Visa or whatever, only it's not a deflatable currency. It's undeflatable. It's based on credit, actual value. And I envision it even as a gold standard for electronic bartering currency. I call it EBC, where Karatbars is actually the gold standard, like a tally stick. It's the gold tally stick, if you want to call it, for a whole new gold economy that's not going to be based on debt, but on credit, and something that's solid that can't be devalued. It's a very big deal, isn't it?
Absolutely a very big deal. And so, like you read off at the beginning of the segment here, Karatbars is a universal solution to the worldwide debt, savings, and currency crisis.
Right.
And so being able to save gold affordably is allowing the average person to take part in this. It's not just left to the quote-unquote rich and famous or those who are well-to-do. It's for everybody. And so our business is about saving gold first, not last.
Right.
And we get paid to show and tell others why we want to save gold first and not last.
Right.
And so it's actually a fairly simple solution equation, but it does require you to go to work. And as you go to work, you can actually accumulate commissions by sharing this opportunity with others, showing them how to set up a free gold saving account. And every time you refer somebody that does that, and they buy gold, etc., you will receive a commission. And those commissions build up, and you can actually earn your way to perpetually free gold, in which I mean that you have nothing that's coming out of pocket. It's all based out of the commissions. And that's a better price than you can get anywhere else for any gold.
Exactly.
Gold.
The amazing thing, the formula to me, is that this is going back to ancient biblical principles. When, let's say it was 3,000 years ago, it's the time of Moses, and basically usury was against the law. In fact, that's why it was incorporated even in the early Catholic Church, that usury was a crime, so they hired burgermeisters, which are basically Jewish burgermeisters, to do this thing, which would otherwise cause what's called a mortal sin. And they hired them to be able to charge the usuries through the Knights Templar, who actually ran the banking system, and then have written notes of gold. So you didn't have to travel with gold to do your pilgrimage to the Holy Land. You just took one of these special writs. And as you traveled, you could go to a gold broker, and they would give you enough coins to go to the next place. You didn't have to carry a large sack of gold or coins. You could deposit your gold, and of course they made a percentage on that. And what they would do is that you travel with this gold writ. Well, we have something much better. With Karatbars, your currency can't be devalued. So if the government has a crisis and the banks, they've already said they're going to bail in. You can't be bailed in with gold. In fact, that's why one of the big banks in Texas is now saying they're going to set up to have gold and silver deposits, and they've threatened the federal government that they can't seize the gold and or the deposits if they do have a banking crisis. So that's good, but this is even better, because Karatbars by the end of the year will have gold notes with gold in them, like a dollar note or euro, but it'll actually have physical gold, so it can't be devalued. It will be a fractional currency, so it'll be 1, 2.5, and 5 grams. And then we're going to have what's called gold Karatbar exchange, which will be fractions of a gram, so that you can buy and sell, let's say, airline tickets or movie tickets or cruises or groceries. And more vendors are going to start saying, hey, why would I take a currency that could be devalued and end up destroying my business when I can accept Karatbar currency, which is not going to devalue? So whether you're selling a commodity like wheat or rice, if you sign a contract in September and the value of the currency is dramatically changed by April when the harvest is coming, you're really in trouble, whether you're the buyer or the seller. Karatbar currencies is going to overcome that. And that's why I see this as an amazing solution to a worldwide problem. And for your personal problem, getting an income and saving gold and building a business with Nutrimedical. Back in a minute. Welcome back. And I'm really pleased. I think God has had his hand, because we constantly pray for our people that are listening to Nutrimedical and the Clay and Iron Show. It's 2 websites, Nutrimedical.com. And, of course, the latest breakthrough we're going to talk about in hour 2 today is our nutraceuticals for immune system and health function, and a new nutrapharmaceutical called GCMAF We look for solutions for everything, whether it's cancer, autoimmune disease, autism, etc. But now we have a solution for the economic woes. And most people don't realize that the powers that be, I call the masters of chaos, their primary driver is to create debt. And their worst tool in that toolkit to make debt is war. So that if we don't solve the problem with us personally, creating a new goal-based economy, a new economy that can't be blown up by a tiny group of, I call minions, not the little minions on television or your blockbuster movie that just came out, we're going to have a catastrophe here. And it's real simple to avoid it, actually. The first process I tell people is disconnect. If you go to your doctor, say, I've been informed by Dr. Deagle, I know that 20% of drugs are appropriate 20% of the time, I'm going to contact him and have him review whatever your drugs you've given, and he's going to tell me whether or not I should take them or not, or there's natural alternatives. Well, the same thing, I'm telling people functionally, whatever you're doing, I don't care if you're an engineer or you're already a millionaire, you need to get in this goal-based economy, because if you think you've got 5 or 10 or 100 million or $1 billion in the bank, that can easily go poof, just like, David Copperfield in Las Vegas. It can go poof, and they lift the curtain and says, where did my billion go? Oh my gosh, how did $1 billion become 100 million or 10 million? And people think, well, that can't happen. Well, of course it can happen. In fact, it's already predestined to happen, and they've even published it. So we need to get into abundance mindset. I believe that if we have credit, a credit-based economy, would be like the Hamiltonian we talk on the LaRouche Foundation, we'd immediately have an abundant society. In fact, it's that Hamiltonian credit-based economy that made America, in the New World Order, the most powerful economy on the planet. And although, quote, in terms of numbers, China is making a bigger, it's over now, was making a bigger amount of exports. The biggest economy and the most influential on earth is still America because of our ability to innovate, but it's been hamstringed by debt over the last, say, 10 or 15 years by a string of presidents that have done things like Glass-Steagall and so on. So we need to change our abundance mindset. Let's talk about that. Not negative scarcity mindset, but sitting on the sidelines, oh, woe is us. We can't make the mortgage. Our groceries are getting too expensive. How about the mindset of, hey, Dr. Deagle is like a financial evangelist, along with Pete Fedek, his co-evangelist, telling us there's a way, and on the horizon, you have saved 1, 2, 5 grams a month of gold. You've built a network, and now you're getting a deposit in your MasterCard, debit card of X number of dollars in a year or two, and you now have a separate stream of income. So no matter what happens to your personal job, you're not in the dumpster. So let's get out of that scarcity mindset into an abundance. How do we do that, Pete?
And that's the crux of why we're talking together, Dr. Bill, today, and have even in the past here a couple times. But Karatbars is not just a way to save gold, but to actually earn an income by sharing it with others.
Right.
And so,
in other words, you only prosper if you help others prosper, which means we at Nutrimedical are driven and are, very competent, which is why whatever we put our hand to, whether it's nutraceuticals or functional medicine or researching things like GCMAF, we are the pinnacle of competency. And that means we are going to work with you to place people under you. So even when you're trying to place like 1 or 2 people a month, we have a constant stream of people, whether you join now or 6 months, it doesn't matter. We're going to be revving this up forever. And it means that if you join us in this business, you are going to succeed. I mean, that's an absolute, you are going to succeed. And you have to have an abundance mindset of, hey, you mean all I have to do is get a bronze package, which I can upgrade at $113 US, which is 99 euros right now, and buy 1 gram of gold, which is like $55 a month, and just introduce one person a month, and they replicate on either leg, left and right leg, the same process? That's all you have to do in 1 year? That's amazing, and that's the minimum. And we're going to be placing lots of other people. People are looking at their network and saying, my gosh, I just joined last week and there's a bunch of people now already under me, which Nutrimedical did. We placed those people. So whether you join now or 6 months, you're going to succeed. It just depends on how much effort you want to put in to help build your network on top of what we're going to do, but you will have abundance. And you have to understand that this has to succeed, because the global fractional reserve economy is like eating food with poison, and eventually when your total body burden of financial poison happens, the body politic of nations starts to die. That's why Greece is dying. It's eaten enough financial poison now. The entire Greek economy is on its last legs. It's in the intensive care unit. And even the IMF has said, you got to write off some of the debt, European Central Bank. And the European Central Bank says, not yet. The Queen has told Angela Merkel, put the screws to Greece. We're not interested in Greece getting a break. And even the IMF is telling me, you got to write off debt. You're going to kill the Greek economy, and then everybody's going to leave. Well, nations and people are eventually going to get it, that if they don't get it back to a gold-based economy, which came off when Richard Nixon changed the gold-based standard, that's when the wheels started to come off the world economy, didn't it?
That's right. That's right. And you already mentioned getting a bronze package, as a bare minimum and getting started.
Right.
And to kind of expand on that a little bit, with the if you have the abundance mindset, that's the first thing. Have an abundance mindset, but save money for your family first. Protect your purchasing power. I don't want to sound negative or anything, but if it were me, I would take my money out of the bank. I would take my money out of the brokerage, out of my pension or IRA or 401k funds. I would get it out of harm's way. That's the first step. The second step is to take it out of the paper currency itself, because whatever happens to the given paper currency happens to whatever you have in that paper currency. And that's where we want to get gold. And so that's the first two steps you need to take, is get it out of harm's way and put it into gold so that you preserve your purchasing power and protect your family and your wealth. And
yeah. In fact, I'll give an example. Let's say you've got $50,000 in the bank, and you've been saving over a period of years. What would you do? This is if you had like a financial crystal ball, which I don't believe in, but let's say you had one, and you could know, because there's 5 or 6 financial wizards, you get all their newsletters, and they say between October of 2015 and April of 2016, 90% of the financial experts tell you there'll be at least a 20 to 30% correction in the value of the American dollar versus commodities, food, gasoline, etc. What would you do? Well, that means a big chomp of your money in the bank has just gone poof. So instead of $50,000, maybe you only have really $30,000 buying power left, because a lot of it's either bailed in, they've stolen it, or its value has devalued so much that that's how much it's worth. And I want to recall what happened back in the 1930s when the president recalled gold. And my grandparents were around. My grandfather was very good at finances, and he's passed that gift on to me, which is why I perceive Karatbars as so important. He made millions even during the Depression by knowing which things to get involved with so that he could make money even in terrible times, which is what we have now. And what you have to understand is when they devalued the gold, the president seized the gold at a certain value and then repriced the gold at a different value, like 40, 50% higher, which means your currency was immediately devalued because it was on a gold standard. So I think it was a 40 or 50% drop in the value of the currency when the president did that back in the 1930s. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah, and people think that can't happen. It's a guarantee it's going to happen. We just don't know when, but soon. We need to have a completely different mindset about what the solutions are. And again, they're all godly. I was listening on the news break about Phyllis Schlafly, I've had on the program many times. And America was based on Christian principles, but it's gone far from that. It has a duality of the daughter of Babylon and the daughter of Zion. And I like to think of the name of America, because remember the two houses of the ancient peoples of Israel, I called the house of Ephraim, and I call America the Ephraim, because most of the Ephraimic tribes, which are the northern tribes of Israel, founded America and were based on Christian principles. Even though many of them were Masons, they had Christian principles embedded in their philosophies. And so what people should understand is we've gotten away from that in every possible way. We now have government as a master of chaos, of finances, and in fact the prophecy was that the land spewed the population of Israel out of it because it didn't have the Sabbath rest of not only the land, but the debt of the people, so they could return to their land of their fathers on the Jubilee year, which is 7 times 7 for the Shemitah year, which is coming up after Elul 29, this June 24th. And the day after that, of course, the Pope is having an encyclical, which is scary because we know what this Pope is coming from, in the United Nations in New York City. So what people should start to grasp is this is momentous time to get your finances out of fractional reserve currency. That's why you'll see brokers advertised in this network and elsewhere say, get your 401k into a gold. Well, this is far better than just getting into gold, which can be in their vault. It's getting into a vaulted currency you can have at your home. It's getting into a currency that can be exchanged electronically, which is coming into the year. It's getting into a currency that can't be devalued or seized. Like the currencies that could be seized, like the gold could be seized in the 1930s with the president, where they devalued the currency something like 40%. This is so. If you have any money stored anywhere, and the rules are, and I hear this from Ted Anderson, my experts, Bob, who used to be on the program with him some years ago, and we're going to get some financial experts to repeat that. But I get Gerald Celenti's newsletter, and they say have only enough money in the bank to run your business, and the rest of it has something that they can't seize or devalue or print away in a whole lot more, because the government are electing themselves with an electronic printing press and buying the electorate by saying here's more goodies like Obama phones, like Obama. And the printing press is overheated. Now even the derivatives market can't make money. So we're in a situation now where I predict, and this is based on all of my financial experts and a lot of prayer, we're going to have a 20 to 30% devaluation of the currencies, the main currencies like the euro and the dollar. But many currencies in the earth are going to be devalued so much, they're not going to be able to afford to buy food for their people. And that's going to start happening this fall, which means 3 months. So what do you think of that thesis? Does that make sense?
It does, and you know that's why Karatbars is a positive solution, not just a another thing that we can use to avoid scarcity mentality, but something that we use to as a positive abundance mentality. And right. Like I keep saying, so the first thing is abundance mentality. Protect your family, protect your wealth, preserve your purchasing power, and be willing to go to work. Karatbars has a solution. Right. It can earn you money. It does require work. I don't.
Michelle's working hard at it, and she's helping a lot of people to get their business going. And we want to talk about details, because this technically is not a multi-level marketing. It is a network of people helping other people to build their business. And the details of the comp plan means it goes to infinity, which means if you're getting in now or in 6 months, you're going to do fantastic no matter what, because it's going to keep growing and growing in terms of volume. And that volume increase is going to literally continue to carry what's called points to infinity, which I don't think any other, quote, MLM does. It's going to retain the units until you actually cycle. There's no requirements or fees. You can just register even if you don't buy a package, but you're smart to get in the dual system, because if you get in the dual system and you just start getting 1 gram of gold a month, and you get one person a month, and we sponsor other people under you, you're going to start finding that you're going to get an income, and at some point, I'm not sure how many months it'll be, but at some point you're going to start getting free gold, and you're going to get money in your MasterCard debit card that's going to say, hey, you made the right decision 6 months or a year ago or whatever, when you're looking back and you're saying, my gosh, look what they did to the dollar. It buys 30% less than it did last year. Every year right now it's been 2 or 3% less. Since 2008 it's been contracting, and now the head of the bank, the Federal Reserve, is saying she's going to raise the interest rate, and she's also said just a few months ago the only way she can do it is if she gets rid of physical money, which means they're not going to print dollars in some point in the future or coins. It'll be electronic debits in their system. The only way that you can have that is if you have a biometric currency, which sure sounds to me like the biblical mark of the beast. So this gold-backed currency is the only solution, not just one solution that I can see coming, to a biometric currency where the global maniacs print more and more money and have us totally enslaved. And if you don't behave, they just press Alt-Delete and all your money is gone. And people say, you mean I can't go down to the bank and deposit, or I can't have stuff in my mattress? No. They're going to make, as it says in the Bible, on that day, I will make your currencies canker. It means rust. They'll make literally anything other than their electronic currency illegal tender, but they can't, when you have an encrypted currency, they can't stop it. They can't stop electronic bartering, which is an encrypted network. They cannot stop a gold-backed currency where people exchange fractional grams of gold to buy gold and goods and services. And I tell people, especially as believers, we need to disconnect from the system now before we become, as it says, don't be the borrower, be the lender. pretty soon, people even of wealth are going to find they're going to be in destitution. And I know there were a lot of people back in the 1920s, my grandfather told me, when the stock market crash hit and they went from millionaires to destitute, they jumped out of the 14th floor window. There's going to be a lot of jumpers, unfortunately. What do you think?
Well, that very well could come to realization again, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And so
I don't want to see it happen. I want to tell people in advance. So, see, I think God is merciful. He sends people like Pete Vedic as a financial, godly evangelist. In fact, you had a quote from the Bible here, Pete, in our talking points. I want you to quote that, if you could. That would be good if you read it.
That's right.
Joshua.
Joshua 1:9, have I not commanded, be strong and of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. That's Joshua 1:9. So
right, and the only two surviving, by the way, the wandering in the desert for 40 years were Joshua and Caleb, who were wise enough and brave enough with the Lord on their side to go into the land of the Canaanites and see the giants there, because we were, quote, as grasshoppers among them. And we were like grasshoppers among the big financial institutions, but guess what? You're no longer a grasshopper. You're a spiritual financial Israelite when you decide to disconnect from the evil Babylonian system that's about to crush you and take all your wealth and starve you. And maybe if it's possible, if you can't get food, to be pushed to a civil detention camp to feed and house you in dangerous close quarters where they can control you completely. And people say, that can't happen. Let me tell you, when you look at Deagel, D-E-A-G-E-L, and the meetings that have gone on between there and President Obama, these maniacs, these demonic overlords of darkness, plan such horrendous things the next decade when they actually put time periods like 2025. Don't think this is a delusion or a prophetic warning. It's an actual quote from what they said they're going to do. So it's a wet dream of Satan, but we don't need to participate. We can simply say, I'm going to disconnect from the economy. I'm going to have some ability to exchange and buy food and water and protect myself. I'm going to have personal protection. I'm going to have prayerful protection. And I'm going to have financial protection. And yes, I say, well, if you want to buy gold and silver coins, but then you have to have somebody willing to buy your special numismatic coin. With Karatbars, it's different. You have vaulted gold in a fraction of a gram, a fraction of an ounce, that allows you to buy on a comp plan that makes it easy for everybody to participate. There's no one that can't participate in this program. Back in a moment. Your questions, 800-259-5791. Fedig and Karatbars. Now, if you want to learn more about Karatbars and our 10-point plan, how to get started, and basically, we've now, in the sense, Michelle is so brilliant at finance. She was a stockbroker before I met her. And she actually she already had her commerce degree, but she got her stockbroker's license in 3 months. That's how smart. And she just aced the exam. So that was back in the early 20s. So I can tell you, when she automated this, she put 10 points in there. If you go to below the Karatbars logo on her associates area, right below it, you'll see KP Vision. You get that link or the link under the notices, you'll see the 10-point how to go to our website, how to then register, how to buy a package, how to start your upload of your what's called Know Your Customer documents, and you want a separate page for the driver's license and a power bill or cable bill or whatever to prove you're a real person. And then you want to get an auto purchase of gold every month, and you want to know how to set up, and as soon as you do that, you're going to get your own website page that you'll open, and you can actually, if you purchase a package, you'll get electronically codes where you can actually give those codes to buy gold at a discount, or to pass on that discount code if you buy a bigger package like a gold or VIP, to help someone purchase a package themselves that's downline of you at a discount. So you can help other people get their business started. Let's talk about the value of packages and what they should get, even if you're hesitant to start to work the biz. Let's talk about some of these different specialty cards, collectible cards, branding cards, and the coming Karatbars Cash Gold. What's happening?
Yeah, so there are multiple different packages that you can purchase with Karatbars, and even if you are hesitant in starting your business or haven't decided if you want to work at it besides just owning the gold, I still recommend at least getting the minimum of package, because if you're saving gold on a regular basis, you're actually going to save more than you spent on that given package. Plus, you're going to have the gold to show for it. And
Right.
one never knows when their mind is going to change and decide they want to get involved in building the business, because if you have a package, units will accumulate underneath you. And you might log in one day when you're doing your gold purchase and say, holy cow, I've got all manner of people underneath me, and I haven't done a thing. And I could actually start to cash that in if I would just be willing to go to work a little bit. So,
Right.
it's a great way to position yourself for possible financial independence by doing that.
Right.
The other reason that you want to get a package is because you participate in the dual team system, and you are, depending on which package level you get, you actually get to choose what you get paid. The commissions are paid out based on the package that you have, so it makes the units more and more valuable the higher package you have. So you're effectively
Right.
choosing your income that you're getting from the work that you do. So you're getting paid many times more for the same amount of work.
Right. So, for example, we purchased for most of our family the VIP or gold packages, and that means we're going to get at either 20% or 15%, which is a multiple of the downline units. And we promote that to people to say, look, you can even get a bronze, but you can upgrade at any time. If in a month or 2 months you say, oh my gosh, I should do this, it's easy to upgrade instantly, and then you start accumulating all these points and you start making some serious cash.
That's right. That's exactly right. It pays to infinity, and the units do not expire. So,
Right.
Even if you haven't been working the business, or you had to take time off from the business and so forth, those units accumulate until you actually earn your way out of them. And
Right.
so you get paid on those units when you cycle.
The earning is really easy. You have a left and right leg. If you have 25 units in one leg and 50 in the other, you'll cycle, and that means the units will then calculate out, based on that multiplier from a package, how much cash you're going to have deposited in your Euro debit card. And you could also have a thing called the Karatbars wallet, where you can actually do auto transfer, so that some of that money can actually be purchasing your gold, so your commissions can buy your gold, and at some point you're basically going to get it gold free, because you're going to have enough commissions, you're paying for gold and accumulating real cash in your debit card. That's what's exciting about this. So people, start off and get your registered and get your at least minimum package. Most people we tell, get a bronze, but if you can afford a silver or gold, do it, because you're going to start seeing this network grow up very quickly. And even whether you decide now or 3 months or 6 months from now, you're going to succeed no matter when you start. But the sooner you start, the better. The network is going to keep building and building, and of course, the new options that are coming, like Karatbars Cash Gold. So let's talk about that in these different specialty cards. You got specialty cards, collectible cards, branding cards. Tell us about that.
Sure. Well, the specialty cards are something that Karatbars offers that there are a multitude of them, and they can be used for specialty purposes, as for instance, as gifts, or for instance, there's a Valentine's Day type of card, called an I Love You card. Newborn babies, wedding cards, Christmas cards, all manner of occasion cards. You get thank you cards and all
the
manner.
Cards have gold in them, is what you're saying. They have gold in the card.
That's correct.
Right.
And these are the regular Karatbars 1 gram cards, but they're specialty.
Right.
There's some collectible cards. If you're for instance, Karatbars has a contract with the Vatican to produce the Pope's image on a card. As an example, and even if you're not Catholic, that's pretty interesting that they would be able to do business that way and have that kind of credibility to work with the Vatican. But at any rate, there's hockey collector cards, Guy Lafleur, Bobby Hull, and there's some collector cards from European sports figures and so forth. So so
these will have intrinsic value beyond even the gold, because some will be limited edition collectible cards as well.
Yes, that's correct. And but one of the things that I like to talk about is the branding cards, which is something extremely unique, where a company can actually upload their own imagery and or logo or contact information, and you can use that for all manner of purposes as a very high quality what do you call it, business card that...
So in other words, we can have a Nutrimedical or a Clay and Iron card, say a Nutrimedical.com card.
Sure.
That with our contact website, phone number, information, so you can use it as a marketing for your company. So tell us how would you use a branding card? Let's say, would we have people, let's say, purchase X amount of products? Because I'm expecting sometime early next year, we will be able to accept, because we accept PayPal as well as credit cards, we're going to be able to accept Karatbar Cash, which is a fraction of a gram of gold for purchase of Nutrimedical products. We'll actually have people that are vendors. We want to become one of the first vendors for Karatbar Cash Gold, so that internationally people can purchase with their Karatbar Cash Nutrimedical products.
Right. And so one of the things that you can do with the branding card is you can use it for customer loyalty or customer rewards. You can use it in customer contests or even sales force incentives for a company that has a sales force. I mean, the sky is almost the limit on what you can do with the branding cards. I've heard
in other words, we can have a loyalty card for people that we call our core wellness, we call online customer patients, because really this is an online wellness practice. Educational and wellness practice where we train people to become their PCP. We call it Dr. U. In other words, they become their own best primary care provider for wellness and integrative medicine. And we could use this for a loyalty card for people that are, purchasing a certain amount of NutriMeds and technologies and loyally supporting what we're doing in our ministry here, because it's a ministry, a wellness ministry, but it's also now a financial ministry. It's trying to help people to say there's a financial dragon coming to consume your finances and destitute most of the Western world. And it doesn't need to happen. We as believers should be, as it says, we should be the salt and the light of the world. And we should be spreading this, in a sense, this gospel, the good news that you don't need to think negative or debt. You can start disconnecting, even if your job is not giving you benefits. I just talked to, for example, one of my friends whose husband was working in a big construction company, and they took away their benefits. And they can't afford for her to have health care benefits now because it would be double her mortgage.
One thing I'd just like to throw in real quick is that, as an example, a realtor is using the specialty cards and using it as a thank you for people that are buying and selling homes through her.
Wow.
And so, it's an on-demand kind of thing. She can order the card after the process is done with any given customer and receive that on time. And, that's a card that nobody's going to throw away.
Well, yeah, in fact, if you get that card, you're going to be very interested. Well, why should I not get involved with this business? So if you have a business and you want to have branding cards, get involved with Karatbars, and you can promote your business using real gold, fractional gold, grams of gold, in a card that has actual vaulted value. Amazing. All the possibilities. Get started today. We'll help you. Call us. Check out that 10-point plan. Michelle has it automated.